If you're still charging by square foot, by the room, or by a number you just pulled out of thin air, you're gonna lose money. I run a cleaning business that does over multiple six figures a year and have helped hundreds of others build the same type of business. And today I'm gonna show you exactly how I would price a residential job, what to charge in your market, and how I'm able to charge premium prices and not get pushed on price. See, most operators are going to try and always figure out their pricing either through their head or through their gut feeling. And over time, what ends up happening with that approach is you eventually start to undercut your own prices because there's a lack of certainty with what you're actually saying and how you're informed. Here's what I would do. Type in cleaning companies near me. And then what I like to do is look at the Google map pack, right? So that's going to be that little map that's on the side. It's not going to be the main search page, but that map right there with all the cleaning companies that are visible in the service area. From there, what I want to do is start documenting all of the top 10 companies that are there. They're the ones that are actually doing well in the business if they're ranking high. So I want to emulate what the best are doing. Now, once you have that information, I want you to call the companies now. It's not enough to go to the website and just browse around and click around. You have to call. If you're going to take this business seriously, you need to understand what it's like to actually go through the selling experience on the other side before you do it yourself, right? It'd be weird if you just didn't do anything and just assume that you're going to figure it out all on the fly your first time. So you don't have to do anything crazy, but just getting a uniform set of pricing for each and every single person you call. You're also going to take notes on how was the experience, right? Were they responsive? Did they even pick up the phone? How was the customer service? Did they have a sales process? Did they follow up with you? All of the things that go into a great call, you're also going to make notes of that, okay? And you're going to compile all of this information together. Then I can understand how much I actually can pay my cleaners, which then ultimately leads to the most important metric, which is what is your gross margin, right? Just as a refresher, all your gross margin is going to be is your revenue you take from a client subtracted by your cleaner labor is going to leave you with your gross margin in this particular business. It could be a percentage or it could be a dollar amount. You can do whatever, but that'll give you a good sense of the numbers. But knowing your numbers is obviously half the equation. How you charge it is the other half, and most will get this wrong and you'll still lose money on every job, which brings us to the age-old discussion of flat rate versus hourly. That's a question every cleaning operator wrestles with. Flat rate or hourly? To me, it's all about trade-offs of each, and then I'll tell you what I recommend depending on your situation, how you like to operate your business. Some pros to hourly is you're not going to lose any money on a clean that runs long if you're charging by the hour. Sometimes the clients are going to pay less than the quote, which can build trust. It's much easier to do this when your time estimates and your experience isn't really dialed in yet. Some of the cons are that the client actually has to trust your time estimate, right? Because you're going to give them an hourly, you're going to give them an estimated time. If they don't trust that, that's going to end up being problems in the sales process for you. It requires clear communication for communicating overages, right? So some people don't like to manage cleanings that way. So that's going to be something where if you don't know how to manage that, that actually is a huge con because it'll just eat into your margins because you pay your cleaner hourly and you didn't communicate with your client. And now you have two things working against each other, right? And that compresses your margin per clean. And one other thing is cleaners can actually milk the clock too, right? So they can be milking the clock, charging you hourly, just going slow, right? Because they're incentivized by hourly. And if you don't have good guardrails in place, that becomes another management issue. So you can see there's a couple management issues here from an operational sense if you run hourly that you need to be aware of. So that's the hourly. On the flat rate, some of the pros, it's one number, right? There's no surprises for any party, right? That can be easier to sell as a package, right? So you're just selling the package, and it's much more predictable on a per job gross margin and revenue basis for you because it's just going to be set in stone right before the cleaning starts. So some of the cons with flat rate is you're going to eat the variance on nightmare cleans, right? You have to have this work when your time estimates are accurate, which goes into more of the quoting process. So if you don't have that dialed in, that will bite you when it comes to pricing it flat. So my recommendation when you're just starting out is I think you should probably just do flat because it keeps your management of the cleaners and the clients a little bit easier and set in stone as you start to get the business underneath you. Over time though, I actually do think hourly is where you make the most potential money. The reason why is there's two things going on here. On the hourly side, you actually can charge more premium and then you can also still be managing your cleaners hours, which can actually result in more gross margin spread. So that's what I recommend once you really know what you're doing is potentially experiment transitioning to hourly because you can actually make more gross margin per clean. Okay, great. So we figured out the pricing, but here's the truth that nobody's going to tell you. The right price really means nothing if you can't defend it on the phone, which brings us to running the actual sales call. I typically like to run a 4-step framework on every inbound call. And that first step is really to first qualify. So that's the first 30 seconds. Obviously, you want to represent your company well. You want to speak well over the phone and coming across as a professional service. So those are the qualitative things that you might not pick up on, but subconsciously you're thinking whenever you talk to any business over the phone, especially with AI these days. From there, we're just trying to get the basics and get an understanding, right? So can you service them in your area? What service are they looking for? What kind of property type do they have? What kind of focus areas do they need? When's the last time they had a cleaning service? Have they used a professional cleaning service before? You know, how often are they looking for cleanings? We're basically painting a picture of who is this person and how can we actually structure a deal for them that makes sense for what their needs are. Now, before you drop the price, right, you get all that information. I wouldn't just say the price and blab it out and say it's going to be this, right? That's not really the type of perceived value increase that we're trying to achieve, right? So when we're on the phone, we are live with someone. The goal of the call is to get the perceived perceived value of the service higher through what you're presenting and what you're saying. So what are the things we can say? These are things like insurance mentions. These are things like background checks. These are things like satisfaction guarantees, how the hiring process is, how many interviews you guys are having to get the best team possible, what reliable communication you can promise from your side, what customer service is like when something goes wrong, walking them through that this is not just an ordinary company, right? When you call a hotel that's a 1-star and a 5-star, they're still a hotel, but the service, the way they're presenting themselves, the way that they're conveying the information is entirely different. So I want you to take that analogy and apply it to your sales call when you're trying to build perceived value with clients. Now, real quick, if you want to go deeper on how I actually built my own remote cleaning business to over $40,000 a month in 9 months working a job, there's a free training linked in the description. Now let's get back to the pricing. So the next step after that is really just to quote confidently. Again, now where the confidence comes from, it's coming from the spreadsheet that you made in the research phase. This allows you to be confident on the phones. This allows you to understand the value of your service. If you don't have that piece, this is where you start to undercut yourself within a call without anything happening besides a little resistance from the client. And the last step 4 is closing. Finalizing the details. Sometimes you're going to get some objections. So working through those objections with the client in terms of what's holding them back from making the decision and walking them through what to expect the day of the cleaning so everyone feels prepared. So I'll walk you through a real call that actually happened using this exact framework. So when I asked the qualifying questions, what I figured out about this home was that it was 3,000 square feet. They didn't have as many people as the bedrooms, right? So there wasn't as many people living in the home at the time. They were looking for a recurring service and they were looking for something that they could get within the week. Okay. So all this information I knew from the qualifying side. What I was asking though was really trying to craft a custom framework for them, because what I ended up figuring out through that process of probing and understanding their needs is that they needed an every other week cleaning, but they didn't need everything cleaned every time. So what I was able to do was create a custom package where, listen, not all the 4 bedrooms need to be cleaned every time. We could get it to a more competitive price point, and that ended up winning the deal. And to me, the reason why that worked is because I was listening to their needs. I created a custom offer for them. I already knew where the pricing was in the market, and I gave them a structured plan and managed the expectations properly, right? So that is how you can win a lot of deals, just by listening. So you need to be listening on top of the baseline framework we talked about today. So if you're using that, closing a bunch of clients, it's great. But if you're closing a bunch of one-time clients, and if that's all you're doing, you're not going to have a valuable business here. So here's the move that makes a client worth 20 times more. And that is the simple fact that if you can get a client to stay with you for a recurring service, they're going to be worth 10 times more to your business than a one-time cleaning. The math is extremely simple. So what does that actually look like, right? So if you had a recurring client at $150 every other week, that's $300 a month. That's $3,600 a year. But the math should also change how you price the first cleaning, because if you're incentivizing a recurring cleaning, you can absorb the lower margin in the first cleaning if it locks in the recurring structure. We like to give frequency discounts if you sign up for recurring packages, right? So all of those things allow them to lower the entry price to get in with the company, but lock them in for lifetime value, right? You're not running a one-time service business. You're building a compounding recurring base. When you got cleaners going out to a client for the first time every single cleaning, that is actually the highest probability that things go wrong in a day. If you want a cleaning company that's running smooth, that's running on autopilot, going to a client's house for the 10th time with your cleaner is actually the easiest thing in the world, right? It's a routine at that point, is the secret to success here. If you can understand that, you have no problems with client acquisition and pricing your services accordingly. So that's pricing in a nutshell. But if you're looking for all the sauce on how to start and scale your own cleaning business step by step, click the link in the description below, access my free guide, or watch this video right here and I will walk through everything in more detail. See you guys on the next video.